Prime Minister, how much of an embarrassment is this for you? It's the first time in more than 100 years that either Labour or Conservative haven't topped a nationwide poll.
Well, I think the results show a very clear message, which is people are deeply disillusioned with the European Union, with the way that it's working, with the way that it's working for Britain, and they want change. The challenge is now for my party to demonstrate that we have the plan to deliver that change, to renegotiate Britain's place in Europe, to get a better deal for Britain, to change Europe, and then to put the choice to the British people in an in-out referendum before the end of 2017. That is what we'll do, and the real test for that plan will come at the next general election.
There are people saying, though, that people voting for UKIP aren't necessarily just interested in Europe, and that this is a kicking of the major parties, and that perhaps you're completely out of touch on the issues that people really care about.
Well, people use elections like this to send messages to the government, and the message on Europe I absolutely receive and understand, which is people want change in Europe. Of course, after a long and difficult recession, people do have other things they're frustrated about. They want to see more jobs, they want to see higher living standards, they want to see us complete our long-term economic plan. And I see that as a demand for us to deliver, and we've got to demonstrate that tackling immigration, reforming welfare, getting Britain's place right in Europe, all of these things are part of our long-term economic plan that has seen an increase in the number of people in work, taxes cut, the deficit down, but there's a lot more to do.
How do you feel about UKIP now? I know that you're sticking to the line that really a vote next year is just for a Conservative government, but realistically, isn't a pact a good idea?
I believe we can win the next election outright, and we should put in front of people our message, which is let's complete the long-term economic plan that is turning this country around. So we can win that election. We're going to have to work harder. We're going to have to do more. We're going to have to convince more people. And that is what I'll be spending my time doing this next 350 days.
OK, and just one question about Nick Clegg. He's looking pretty vulnerable. He is your Deputy Prime Minister. Where does this all leave the coalition, especially if he goes?
Well, the coalition is a strong government that is delivering for Britain, particularly in terms of turning around our economy, getting people back to work, cutting their taxes. That work will continue. Should be in no doubt we have a strong and determined government with a very clear plan, and that plan continues.
But a coalition without Nick Clegg, how does that work?
Look, the Liberal Democrats, that's for them to decide themselves. I'm very clear. We have a strong coalition government that is effectively changing our country, putting people back to work, cutting people's taxes, getting the deficit down. We have a very clear plan, and my job as Prime Minister is to stick to and deliver that plan, and that's what I'm going to be working flat out doing over the next 350 days.